know, make them see those. JP in the clutch, yeah, that ought to make them hush, baby. Hey, you looking at the grid. See us rise, never hesitate when it's formulaic. Pieces come together, now we egg drought buster. Hit him with the big dumper, his back to jumper. On to the next chapter, stage of wonders. Circle up and dance, taking every chance. Leave it on the diamond, we keep throwing heat. See the pin, too unique. Night and day, we chase the dream. Baby. We say home run, Julio. Yeah, we all on our feet. We all on our feet. Send it at a glance, hard work advance. We gon' make them feel all the heat, all the heat.
What is going on, everybody? What's good? Welcome to a new episode of Teal Sleeves Podcast. I'm your host, Mike, and as always, I got Joe, my co-host, and we got a special guest here joining us right off on the back. Proud to say that, this is one of my all-time favorite players who was a one-time Mariner. Please welcome to Teal Sleeves, a member of the Hall of Just Good, Denard Span. What's going on, brother?
What's good with it, man? All is good. How are you guys?
You know what, man? I'm doing pretty dang good myself. Absolute pleasure to have you on here, man. Like you and I, we text back and forth every now and then, man. Like, it's always a pleasure to talk with you, man.
Nah, of course, man. Yeah, you're right. We have kept in contact, you know what I mean, since I left Seattle. I had a good run there, fun time, one of my favorite cities to play baseball, and I just enjoyed my time there, and happy once again to get an opportunity to speak with you guys today.
I appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. Joe, you got anything for Denard before we get this show started off, man?
So just excited to have you on. Been trying to get this done for weeks, so I'm looking forward to our conversation.
And Joe, I just say on Joe's point, he's got the big dumper USA jersey on here. I gotta add that right there. Like, he's got the big dumper.
I love it.
The way I'm saying, it kind of looks like a Mariners jersey, but it's a big dumper USA jersey that came in a few days ago.
Hey, it came at the right time, and I definitely need to go get myself a Cal Raleigh USA jersey. But I mean, like, one thing we got to talk about, like, Fanatics, man, they're going out of control with these prices, man. Like, it's basically costing you half a month's rent for an authentic jersey, and then like a quarter of the rent just for a jersey itself.
How much are they going for?
Like $200.
Yeah, $200 for a player jersey, and then almost $430 for an authentic.
Wow. Yeah. Wow.
I usually wait till I get a gift card for my birthday or Christmas to buy a jersey at this point.
I mean, you do what you can, but
yeah, 400. That's a grip.
Yeah. Tell me about it. So before we get into, of course, spring training and WBC talk, I do want to talk. Let's go ahead and just chat here with Denard, but because, like, Denard, you are a member of the Hall of Just Good Enough, man. Like, Hall of Just Pretty Good. I forgot about it. Yeah, like, I mean, Denard Span's career was very interesting, to say the least, because he had an incredible time in Minnesota. He was, I mean, you know what? I'm going to say it right now. Like, the fact that this man was not an all-star, that nobody voted for this man to become an all-star, that's criminal. That's criminal to me, bro.
Yeah, man. You know what? I feel the same way, but you know what? I was a player that got off to slow starts. You know what I mean? You look back over my career, my first half splits in comparison to my second half splits were like night and day. I think it was maybe 1 year where I had a good first half, but then I ended up getting hurt right before the All-Star game. I think it might have been like 2011 or something like that. But man, I just never could get off to a good start, but I would finish strong. When everybody was wearing down and getting tired, that was when I was catching my second and third win.
That's always rough. So here's a really good question I do have for you. So you played in the major leagues for 11 years. And when you reach that 10-year mark, is it true that they give you a lifetime membership pass?
Yes. All right. I'm trying to think if that's at 8 years or if that's at 10 years. You get the gold. There's a gold pass that you get as a major leaguer, and you're able to, flash that around any MLB stadium and get in for free. But I have not I have not used that up until this point in my life. I have not tried it. But I still do have that. Still do have the card.
I have a feeling I know when you're going to use it. I know when I know when this man's going to use it.
When is
It
that?
is going to be Game 3 of the World Series here in Seattle against the Dodgers.
Okay, yeah, that might be a good. But you know what though? I don't think they honor it for the postseason though. I might have to.
Geez, man, that's
Yeah, I heard.
I don't think they do.
I heard Ferb May say some stuff about on his YouTube how it's only regular season games.
Yeah, it's only regular season.
Oh, then he's got to come for the American League West title clincher. Then
I gotta do. Yeah, I gotta either that or I gotta hit you up for some tickets.
Hey, you know what, Denard? I'm saying it right now, man. Look, this year, I've got full confidence in this Mariners team. We'll talk about the Mariners here in a second, but this year, man, when we get to the playoffs, you're coming here out to Seattle. Let's get to a game. First round of beers on me. First round of drinks, I don't care. It's on me, bro. Because we got to get you back out here to the Pacific Northwest because I went to a game with Denard when he was playing in his Mariners colors, and thankfully he was wearing the Mariners teal. This was a game in which they were wearing teal. I remember it correctly. We were playing the Boston Red Sox, and this man hit, in my opinion, almost the equivalent of a regular season Edgar Martinez double, where he gave us the lead in the late innings, and the whole crowd went crazy.
Yeah,
and it felt like playoff atmosphere at that point.
Yeah, it was. I remember that day vividly, man. I don't think I had been a Mariner for too long, but that to me that hit coming up in that situation where we were battling to win the division. Yeah, I remember that place rocking. The stadium was full, and if I'm not mistaken, I think it was Ben Gamble who ended up scoring from first base. It was either him or Guillermo Heredia, one of those two guys.
It was Ben Gamble who scored. It was Ben
That's
Gamble.
right.
That slide that he had, he just got in ahead of the tag.
Yeah. And so it was just an electric game, electric atmosphere, and that was probably the hit in the moment where I was like, okay, I'm a Seattle Mariner now. Let's go.
All right, well, let's go ahead and just talk about your career a little bit. Denard, for everybody who does not know, Denard Span started his career out at his baseball career really got started on the June amateur draft, where he was drafted out of Tampa Catholic High School in Tampa, Florida. This man is a Florida person, live and die. You still live down in Florida, am I not correct?
Yep. I'm still in Tampa, Florida.
There you go. The last time I was near Tampa was a couple years ago when I went to the 2022 Mariners and Marlins, when they faced the Rays and the Marlins. So that was fun. Denard Span spent a good 5 seasons with the Minnesota Twins, able to finish 6th in the Rookie of the Year voting in his rookie season. He went out to Washington, played for the Nationals for a couple seasons, played for the San Francisco Giants. And then 2018, very, very funny season happened. He plays for the Rays, and mid-season, the Mariners acquired this man to get him in a Mariners uniform. Always wanted to see this man in a Mariners uniform because I want to talk about your stance. Your stance was so memorable because I remember when you first started out, you actually had a very low stance. You actually bent your knees. But then when you came to Seattle, I remember you always held that bat out and you always went like that, like that, and then finally bent down, man.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that stance. How did that stance go from it keeping your knees bent to up straight and then bend?
Well, you know what? I was always constantly, tinkering with my stance. Every year, I think if you were to go back and look at video, I guarantee you just about every other year, my stance looked different. And honestly, it had everything to do with, how my body changed and evolved as I, got older and had more mileage on my body. And so, yeah, I just would, I was always just trying to make adjustments, just trying to put myself in a position to compete. But honestly, I think it stems from, that's what I did when I was, a middle school or high school kid. I did not have, the finances to get a hitting coach. So I had to be my own self coach. And so that's just what I always did. I always, if I didn't get a hit a certain way within 20 at bats, then I would, try to maybe bring my hands a little lower. Or I would, bring my feet, in narrower. And just try to do whatever I could to, get like I said, put myself in a position to get a hit or to be successful. So, yeah, it just kind of developed. What you saw in 2018, that kind of just developed, into what it was.
I like it, man. I like it. Joe, you're gonna take over here for the next couple questions, man. Anything you got for Denard, man? Ask away, brother.
Obviously, your time with Seattle was only like part of the season, but what percent of your favorite things about playing Seattle, and what was like being around Ichiro every day?
I would say my favorite part of playing in Seattle, the city. I lived in oh my God, what's over the bridge? What's that area called? Before
Mercer Island, Bellevue.
Bellevue. I'm sorry. Yeah, I lived in Bellevue, and so every single day making that drive over that bridge, seeing the mountain. I was there. I got there at the end of May, so I was there from June until obviously the end of the season. But the weather was unfreaking believable. And then also playing in Safeco Stadium, that was one of my favorite places to hit, even as a visiting ball player. And then as far as Ichiro, I just was enamored with just how dedicated and how structured and how disciplined he was on a day in and day out basis. And, he was a guy that wasn't even on our active roster, and he showed up to the field every single day as if he was getting ready to play game 7. And it was like clockwork. At a certain time, he was, you could count on him being, where he was supposed to be. And so for me, it was unbelievable to get opportunity to play with such a legend, somebody who I watched before I got into pro ball, and to see him, even in his mid 40s, even though he wasn't on the active roster, but he still had ability, he still had talent, and he was a good teammate. And so it was a fun treat. And I always say I'll be able to tell my kids one day that I got a chance to play with Ichiro Suzuki.
Yeah, it's definitely really cool. Because it's so funny how he basically trains like he's playing, even though he's not. He's still good enough that the Mariners had him playing right field during their squads during their postseason bye last year.
He still does it, right?
Yep.
He does.
He's still out there. He goes to the cage every day. He takes batting practice. He would take batting practice. He would make throws from the outfield in right field, and it just was at times kind of like you're like, what is he doing? But then you just, as time goes on, you're like, man, this guy just really loves the game of baseball. And as somebody else who or somebody that loves the game, you got to respect that. Somebody who is dedicated to to their craft and just to the game of baseball. I just had nothing but the utmost respect for him.
Oh my gosh, man. Yeah. Like it's so weird. Like Ichiro, he's just an ambassador. He's just on the team basically just to observe and everything. He comes to the ballpark every day dressed. I think he sleeps in that uniform. I think he still sleeps in that uniform. And it's amazing because you have guys like Ken Griffey Jr., you have Griffey, Edgar, all of those guys, and they're just looking at him and just be like, does this guy ever stop?
I think he's probably gonna do that until the day he's under the ground, man. He takes care of his body. I mean, he stays in shape. He's flexible. So yeah, I could see him doing that for at least another 10 to 15 years easily.
I feel that.
I'm watching the Mariners spring training game. I was kind of paying attention to who's in the dugout, and I realized he's just casually on the front railing with everyone else.
as if he's on the team, right? Like he's watching it, like he's literally studying the pitcher, as if like next inning he's about to face this guy. That's just who he is, man.
I
But that's
feel
what
like
made him so great, though. That's what made him so great when he
exactly.
was actually in his prime. So
And also, like, think about this. So with the World Baseball Classic coming up here soon, like you think to this, like Japan has won three. I believe they won three of the 5 World Baseball Classics. Ichiro's been a part of 2 of them,
yeah,
and I mean, one thing that I'm looking forward to with the World Baseball Classic, and this is something I was curious about your thoughts, Denard, is, I mean, I got a feeling we're going to see another Japan versus USA in the final because, like, baseball, what it has become now, especially with the World Baseball Classic, it's grown. It has
yeah,
grown to something that a lot of people, especially baseball fans, hardcore baseball fans, would be like, yo, this is where we want the game back. And
yeah.
now we have basically a World Cup of baseball that is taking its stage and people tune into it. I mean, like, what is your take on the World Baseball Classic, and what's your World Baseball Classic prediction for this upcoming tournament?
Well, I mean, first and foremost, it's obviously, great for the game of baseball. When you got, this game being played at such a high level across the world, right? And so many other, countries and nations that, take this game seriously and are really good. And they've, quite frankly, caught up to the United States. And you're talking about Japan, winning 3 out of the last 4 or something along those lines. But yeah, I think USA is not technically favored the way they used to be. Dominican is good, Puerto Rico is good, Venezuela is good. I mean, it was trying to think who else is normally in the thick of it as well with USA.
Mexico.
Mexico is normally good. You're right. I forgot they got Randy Rosarena on that team. But yeah, my predictions. I mean, I got to ride with USA. You know what I mean? Like, even though Japan has, stole their thunder over the last couple, WBCs, but I think USA, it's still theirs to lose. You know what I mean? I think if they show up and everybody plays to their capabilities, I still think, we have the best players.
I love it. I absolutely love it, man. Another thing I wanted to talk to you about, I was looking forward to talking to you about this because I wanted to bring up probably one of the most hilarious moments you ever had on the field. Let's go back to a game in Texas. And all of a sudden, like, I know you're the runner on first base. All of a sudden, a big old clap of lightning comes and you duck. And I remember that you said, I thought God was coming for me.
Yeah. I don't know if you've seen that. You obviously have seen the clip. But just imagine that noise being 100 times louder. It was the loudest noise I can say that I've ever heard, and it felt like literally it was right outside, right in the stadium. And so, as you if you can go back and hopefully you guys can pull up that clip. But I mean, nobody called timeout. Everybody just ran off the field. There was no timeout. I think the pitcher might even balk. He came set. He was about to pitch, and then all of a sudden the thunder came, and everybody just ran off. The umpires, everybody ran off, and so it just was. Yeah, that was a scary but funny moment for sure.
And here's the thing, I got it right here. I got the clip right here, so I gotta do the screen sharing. So Joe, if you got anything for Denard, please ask away, man.
You're putting me on the spot right now because those two questions are the main ones I wanted to ask. Or since you play on a bunch of teams, where were some of your favorite teams to play in, and what were some of your favorite visiting cities to play in? You
said what was the favorite team that I played for?
Where are some of your, or I guess as a home or away player, what do you think the best cities were that you played in the majors?
The best cities that I like to play in, I would say New York, just given the big stage. Everything is was magnified, whenever you played in New York. I like playing in Wrigley. I like playing in Boston. I mentioned Seattle. I don't know. I grew up a Ken Griffey Jr. fan. So the S on your hat, that's just an iconic logo for me. Watching Griffey wear the hat backwards. So I was actually it was a bittersweet situation when I got traded to Seattle because I was playing home in Tampa with the Rays, and then when I got traded to Seattle, I was like, I wasn't thrilled about moving across the entire nation, but quickly, I got over that and remembered, hey, this team has a chance to make the playoffs, and also too, I'm getting a chance to play, for the Seattle Mariners. So I would say, yeah, Seattle, Chicago, and New York are probably three of my favorite stadiums, and Boston.
Denard,
I'm sorry.
And Denard, I got it right here for you, man. I got it right here for you, buddy.
You can tell he's talking to the
This sounds off.
Wow.
Look at everybody just running off the field.
Yeah,
Everybody
was
takes
going.
off. Everybody. I don't. You're not. Yeah, that was wild, man.
That really was. That was absolutely one of the most wildest scenes I've ever seen. And like I said, like your interview about it, just like saying, I thought God was coming to get me. And like that could not have been the more perfect explanation.
I thought it was over, man. I thought it was over. I started saying my prayers, man, asking God for forgiveness.
All right, man. Well, we've talked about your career. We've talked about some highlights. So let's go ahead and get into this, man. Let's go ahead and talk some 2026 Seattle Mariners, because like this team is prime and ready to make a run at the American League pennant, and they were just 8 outs away last year. I mean, both me and Joe, our hearts got broken because of that.
Yeah.
But I mean, what is your what is your take on this 2026 Seattle Mariners, and how far do you think that they can truly go? I mean, is there potential? Has there potential to be a World Series champion? Is it right there, or is their window about to close?
Please forgive me because I don't know what additions and subtractions they made from the team last year.
No worries.
But what's that? Go ahead if you want to tell me.
So we got Rob Refschneider as a lefty specialist. We just recently got back Mitch Garver on a minor league deal. Of course, we re-signed Josh Naylor. We also traded for Brendan Donovan as well.
You lost Solano, right? Not Solano, Polanco. I mean,
we did lose Polanco, unfortunately.
Okay. I still think that the core talent and group is still there, right? You got the pitching. I'm terrible with names, but I know you guys got the 2 power righties. What's that? The one righty that throws a lot of fastballs with the longer hair. Woo.
Oh, and Bryce Miller as well.
Bryce Miller, and then of course the Dominican guy.
Luis Castillo.
Luis Castillo. Please forgive me. It's late on the East Coast here, but yeah, I still believe you guys have starting pitching. You guys got offense, and you guys got guys that are still in their prime. I mean, so I would say it's a legitimate. You guys have a legitimate chance to reach the World Series. Obviously, when you get into the playoffs, a lot of things got to go right. The ball has to bounce your way throughout the season. Guys have to stay healthy. But I don't see why, if everything lines up, that they definitely have the ability and the talent to take it all the way for sure.
Definitely, man. Well, I don't want to keep you up too late, man. I just want to keep you here just for a couple more minutes. Joe, do you have anything else that you would love to pick Denard's brain about, man?
So something, I play adult league baseball on 2 teams. So with that, I'm playing basically for 5 months on average, like every other to every third day. I'm kind of started to become more impressed with how major league players play like 5 or 6 days a week. So like, how do you like make that work, or like how do you like survive it and like perform at a championship level?
Well, you got to think most major leaguers by the time they reach the major leagues, they've played in the minor leagues for at least 3 years, 3 to 4 years, and our bodies have been conditioned to go through the rigorous schedule and just playing day in and day out. But ultimately, it just comes down to how you take care of your body, right? Like you have to, make sure your nutrition's on point. You got to make sure your strength and conditioning, you're lifting, you're staying in good shape. But for me also too, like the main thing for me where I felt like I had the edge on a lot of players, and the reason why I had better second halves than first half was because of my off season. The work that I put in during the off season helped me to be able to finish seasons off strong. But that's from a physical standpoint. But mentally, you have to have that grit. You have to have short term memory. You have to be able to turn the page. Whether you're in a slump or whether you're locked in and seeing the ball really well. And so it takes a special human to be able to play at a high level day in and day out at the major league level. I always say most big leaguers, most baseball players in general, a little quirky. The only because baseball is the only sport, obviously where you fail 80% of the time, 70 to 80% of the time, and you consider one of the best. So, in order to, go through that grind, you have to be a resilient person for sure.
Yep.
Definitely.
Good question, by the way.
Yeah, thank you.
Denard, before we get you out of here, I need to remind you this. So I know your Buccaneers, by the way, your Tampa Bay Buccaneers, you beat my Seahawks earlier this year. I do need to remind you something. The Seahawks had their 50th season this past year.
Okay.
We won the Super Bowl.
Okay.
And now the Mariners are entering their 50th season in the big leagues. And I know that this is it. I know that this is the season that we finally end all the social media BS of be like, oh, y'all don't have a ring. Y'all never even made it to the World Series. And I know this is the year. I know this is the year that we finally end the entire drought of 50 years. No World Series whatsoever. 50 years for the Seahawks. They come away with a Super Bowl. 50 years for the Mariners. I'm calling it right now. We're going to come away with that World Series trophy.
So I love the confidence. So you're just going to go all out with the confidence, and you don't care about jinxing or bad juju.
No, it's not. It's not existing with me right now because I'll say this right now. This is how confident I was. This is how much confidence I had last year.
You was or you are? Are you talking about last year now?
I'm talking about last year. Hold on. I'm talking about last year when we faced the Detroit Tigers. This is how confident I was. I bought 2 cigars. I bought 3 bottles of champagne. I was ready to pop them for the American League Championship Series. When we went into Game 5, I told everybody, we're not losing this game. We may be going up against the best pitcher in baseball, but how many times has the best pitcher in baseball beat us? 0. He never beat us. Tarek Skubal didn't beat us the whole year. We got to him. We got him out of the game. We were able to get to that Tigers bullpen. We ended up winning that marathon. And then going into the championship series, I just said it. I said it outright. I'm like, we're not losing this series. Even though we did lose this series, I thought we were the better team. I really thought the Mariners were the better team because it has nothing to do with the fact that we were 8 outs away. It has to do with we had the pitching, we had the lineup. I do believe, and I will say this live on this podcast, I believe if we would have gotten those final 8 outs, head to the World Series, it would have been the Mariners in 6 games. Hands down. I believe it 100% that we would have shut down that Dodgers team. That's how confident I am. And with 50 years on the books for the Mariners, this is the season that we are going to end the World Series drought. We're going to do it this year.
I hope you're right. I hope you're right.
I
That's all I'm gonna say. I hope you're right. Um, yeah, I hope you're right, man. I want to see a Seattle World Series. I was definitely rooting for Seattle. I thought going into the World Series, I thought that it would have been a better matchup against the Dodgers, but obviously the Toronto Blue Jays, they went in and they showed up. They came to play. They were ready to play, and they made a hell of a series. But I'm still trying to figure out. You said you were confident last year that you guys had a good enough team, so that confidence, even though you lost, that confidence has spilled over into this year. I'm confused.
Damn right. No, no. Listen to me. Look, the first game my dad ever took me to. You're gonna find this hilarious. First game my dad ever took me to, Kingdom, 1995. It's in August. The Mariners are playing the New York Yankees. My idol, my hero, to this day, Ken Griffey Jr. hits a walk-off home run, and that starts the refuse to lose movement. At 5 years old, that's officially when I caught baseball fever, Mariners fever, Ken Griffey Jr. fever. I've been a diehard since 1995, and I have every year I go into the season so confident. But this is the year that I go into it and say, this is the season. This is the year that we have it on paper and we put it together and end a 50-year drought of no World Series appearances, no American League pennant. Well, this is the year that I say we're going to win the American League pennant. We're going to make the World Series. And to kick it off, we're going to do the same thing the Seahawks did. We're going to bring that World Series championship trophy home to Seattle where it belongs. Because I have a feeling now with the Seahawks movement, Seattle is going to become the new title town.
They need to bring you into spring training, man.
You know what? I've said it for a long time.
Because
when I was
you got me hyped up like I want to get back on the team, man.
give him a call. Call him right now. That way you can get out to Arizona, man. That way you don't need to use that pass. You just show up to the ballpark and you be like, I got my uniform on. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to coach these kids.
You know what's even more impressive?
What's that?
Is that you said you've been a fan since 1995, right?
Yes, sir.
So you've seen a lot of bad Mariners teams.
Oh,
hold on, hang with me though. Hang with me. You've seen some bad baseball.
Yeah.
But the fact that you are still so optimistic, which you have reason to be optimistic because they got a darn good team. But I just love, I love to see that, just to see your energy right now. I love the positivity.
I appreciate that, Denard. Like, here's the thing, like, the thing that you got to know about me is like when I go into a season, like, especially like 2018, I didn't really have that like high hopes because it was still at that time where we were still playing like not mediocre baseball, but good enough baseball.
Yeah.
And I do believe this. I think you that 2018 team that you were on, you guys had a very special run. And I really thought that you guys were going to break the drought. And I was really sorry that you didn't. But you're absolutely right. I've been through some crappy baseball teams. Like, let's put it this way. Like, I just need to bring this up. And to all Mariner fans listening to this, I apologize for this PTSD. Adam Jones, the one trade.
Yeah, that was a bad trade.
That made no sense to us.
That was a bad trade. Who made that trade?
Now you're gonna find this funny.
Get him out of here. That was terrible.
You're gonna find this funny because I just found this out a couple weeks ago because because I work for a contracting company with FedEx, so I deliver packages, so I listen to stuff all the time. I was re-listening to the 1995 one-game playoff against the California Angels. Who was the GM at that time for the California Angels? Bill Bavasi. Who was the general manager who made the Adam Jones trade? Bill Bavasi. And I'm thinking in my head right now, when I heard that, I was like, I put two and two together. He sabotaged us on purpose. He did that trade on purpose.
But hey, let me ask you this though. Initially though, when the trade first happened and you guys got Eric Bedard, you thought that was a good thing, though, probably, right? Because you got a big leaguer and was trading for a guy that had not done anything in the big leagues at that time.
I'll be completely honest. So when the trade happened, how old was I? I'm trying to think back. Let me go. Let me.
It had to be
let me
like
look.
06, 07, something like that.
I think so.
I
So
think it
this
was 06.
This is when I was still in high school. So Adam Jones, let me look this. And first of all, Adam Jones, that man was an absolute dog.
Yes, he
That
was.
that was one of the best players that I've ever seen come out of our organization,
Yeah.
prospect wise. And I think this is hilarious because like you got to think about this. He was coming into our organization as a shortstop. We turned him into a gold. Well, we didn't really turn him into a Gold Glover, but
I think he didn't start playing center until he got to Baltimore, if I'm not mistaken.
correct.
Or did he switch? He was still a shortstop when he had a Seattle uniform on.
So I just read it up here. He replaced corner outfielder. Oh God, Shin Soo Choo. He replaced Shin Soo Choo, who I believe is also a member of the Just Good Enough Hall of Fame.
So what? Hold on. Adam Jones replaced Shin Soo Choo?
Yes, he replaced corner outfielder Shin Soo Choo, who attempted to fill in for an injured center fielder Jeremy Reed. Man.
Hold on. So Shin Soo Choo was in Baltimore or Seattle? I'm confused.
In Seattle.
'Cause, I mean, Shin Soo Choo, he was a good player now.
He was. And why we traded for him, I have no idea. And here is the day of the trade, by the way. Just 8 days before I turned 18, February 8th, 2008, the Adam Jones trade, when that went down and I heard that we got Eric Bedard, the first thought in my head was, what did we just do? Like what? Like I couldn't believe it. Even as a near 18-year-old, I couldn't believe we traded him. I thought.
But let me ask you. I can't remember. Was the team contending at that moment, and they were like they needed a starter to get them over the hump? I don't understand the trade. Why you would trade your number one prospect unless it's for a piece that you think is going to get your team over the hump. I feel like the Mariners at that time, they were somewhat competitive, or am I not right?
The Mariners had just finished. The 2007 season was their first winning season in a long time. They just finished right behind the Angels. And to be completely honest, like the pitching staff at that point, it was okay as it was. We didn't really have a lot of guys, so we definitely needed pitching, but I felt like maybe we could have gotten somebody in free agency at that point in time because
I mean, definitely hindsight 2020, that was not that wasn't a good move.
No, it was not. Before we get you out of here, though, Denard, real quickly, thank you so much for coming on here, man. I'm looking forward to having you on here every now and then and talking some Mariners baseball. But like I said, you know what? Make it the summertime. You know how beautiful the Pacific Northwest is at that point. Make it the summertime. Get out here to Washington, man. Let's get together, get to a game. Like I said, first round, it's on me, brother.
All right, man. What about the next 5 rounds?
We'll go Dutch.
All right, that's a bet, man. I appreciate you having me, man. And let's definitely keep in contact, and let's definitely do this again, man. I had a lot of fun.
Oh, yes, sir, man. Hey, thank you so much, man. You have a wonderful night, man. And I hear your kid is starting to become a little Denard Span Jr. out there with the bat.
Yeah, we had a baseball tournament this weekend, and man, he's developing. He's having fun. He's enjoying the game, and that's the most important thing. I'm just trying to keep him having fun and just going out there and playing the game the right way and approaching life the right way. Most importantly.
There you go. Well, let's hope here down the road, 10, 13 years down the road, Mariners give him a call and draft him.
That's it. I mean, I told Jerry DePoto, obviously he's not the GM. He's still the GM, isn't he? Or no? He is still the GM, right?
He's still with the team, but Hollander is the GM. But he's the president of baseball ops, I think.
In my opinion, I do think that Jerry and Justin, they share the GM roles halvesies. They go Dutch on that one.
Okay, that's what. Yeah, that's why. What's Justin's last name?
Hollander.
Hollander. Yeah, he was there when I was there. But the year I was with Seattle, I tried to negotiate with Jerry. My son was one, and I offered him a 10-year, $250 million contract. I said you better get him now. I said because yesterday's price is not going to be the same as the price is going to be in 2032 or whenever that year is going to come. He declined, but I said all right, we'll get on the back end.
Oh, imagine when your kid just says, "Hey, Jerry just offered me a Shohei Ohtani contract," and you're just gonna turn to him and be like, "All right, I can retire for a third time."
Exactly.
All right, Denard,
All right, man.
hey, have a great night, man. Like I said, looking forward to having you back on here soon, and thank you so much, man. You have a wonderful evening, brother.
Thank you for coming
Yes, sir.
on.
You too, man. Y'all take care.
Have a good one. Denard Span, everybody. Man, that was fun.
So yeah, it's always fun getting a big leader to come onto the show and talk ball.
Yeah. Well, we talked a lot about Denard Span, but now it is time to talk about what we were born to do. It is time to talk about the Mariners spring training. And so far, the spring has been showing us some really interesting twists and turns, especially the other day, man, with Cade Anderson making his big league debut.
I didn't watch it start live, but seeing like the tweets, he looked pretty good, and drawing comparisons to Max Fried seems pretty impressive. Because I think I saw his videos, and then I texted some people saying that he kind of pitches like Max Fried, and then like a few hours later, I saw someone tweet the same thing.
I did see that actually. I did see that somebody did, and yeah, he's got the same he's got that same rotation as Max Fried, so it's going to be interesting. And the one thing that I love about Cade Anderson is when we drafted him, he was big league ready to begin with. And I got a feeling he might actually make his debut this year because I think the Mariners pitching staff right now, the only thing that a lot of people are worried about is Bryce Miller. Of course, he has I believe a little, what was it, an oblique strain?
It was something like that. The word was he said if it was in the regular season, he wouldn't have reported it. So I guess it's kind of minor. Just guess not worth risking in games that don't really count.
Hey, you know what? That's fine by me. That's fine by me to where nobody is. You're gonna go into the season. You're gonna go into the season healthy. That's the most important thing.
Like I said, it should be like a 1 week thing, if anything. So that should be pretty minor.
Hey, that's solid by me. That is completely solid by me. So far, we've seen a lot of these prospects shine, but one guy in particular that we've seen shine so far in 6 games, 4 for 13, 2 runs, 286 batting average. I'm telling you right now, Cole Emerson, he's looking like that dude. He's starting to look like that dude.
Watching some of him play, I feel like if he keeps it up, he might be getting to the point where the Mariners have no choice but to put him on the roster. And I saw it's not like Cole Young has been struggling a little bit, but he homered today, so I feel like that's a good bell when the Mariners don't have most of their roster spots already grabbed.
Yeah. I wanted to bring this up because I found this a little ironic. The year that Julio made the opening day roster in 2022, he was wearing number 85 on his spring training jersey. And what number does Cole Emerson have on his spring training jersey?
85. I kind of thought the same thing.
85. And I thought it was the funniest thing in the world. I wanted to bring it up on the show because I found it too ironic. I found it too ironic that, that 2 of the really big name star prospects for the Mariners have worn 85. And once again, JP hasn't really gotten a lot of time to play. He's still working through some soreness. But I don't know, like Cole Emerson, like he may actually give the Mariners no choice. And you know what? If he gives the Mariners no choice but to play him and call him up for the big league roster on opening day, I'm fine with it. I'm perfectly fine with it because I wanted to also bring this up with you in talks with spring training, but this is J.P. Crawford's last season possibly with the Mariners. And there's one thing that I will always say, hey, he's the captain. J.P. Crawford is the captain. And to think that, we do have his replacement already in Colt Emerson, because Colt can play third base, he can play shortstop, he can play second base. And to think that we have his replacement already, and I don't know, I feel like JP knows. I feel like JP knows that his time is almost over, but I need this to be the year that we get him a ring.
Yep, I've been telling people, I feel like it would be pretty sad if the Mariners end the season where J.P. Crawford and Rick Perez in their last years, the Mariners don't get rings. Like, if there's any year to win the World Series, it's this year. Like, obviously, last year would have been good too, but at this point, they kind of blew it and they can't really do anything about it now. So,
yeah,
it's their best shot.
This is definitely, 100%. This is their best shot, and I do believe that. I believe that we will get to the World Series. I do believe that we are going to get this chance. But more spring training talk before we get on to the World Baseball Classic. I mean, like, I wanted to talk about this because this is a dude that I actually think that might actually sneak onto the Mariners roster and could potentially beat Dominic Canzone out for a roster spot. And people are going to think I'm crazy. Brennan Davis, who has played 5 games so far, 6 for 11, 4 runs scored, 3 doubles, 2 home runs, 4 RBIs, a .545 batting average. This former Yankees prospect has really kind of opened my eyes, and he actually almost reminds me of Rylan Thomas, who made an incredible diving catch the other day. Like Rylan Thomas, he is just an absolute dog when it comes to those. But I don't know, like, I'm curious, do you actually see a dark horse right now for this Mariners spring training roster? Because if there's a dark horse to make the opening day roster, there's 2 of them in my books. It's Colt Emerson, who a lot of people are possibly expecting to sneak onto the roster, but the other one that I don't think anybody talks about, except for one person on social media, you know who that is, and that's Brendan Davis, excuse me. Those are my 2 dark horses. And I'm just curious, do you have any other dark horses? Because I think that these guys could possibly, like, sneak onto this roster.
Honestly, I feel like with Brandon Davis, since he comes in like mostly late in games and faces minor leaguers, I feel like best thing to do would be to put in AAA. And if there's an outfielder, and if the Mariners need an outfielder at some point, he'd be like one of their best options. Honestly, I feel like I don't even know what's going on with the bullpen, but I feel like there's definitely battle in there for the last 2 spots, and it's gonna be interesting to see who ends up winning them. Yeah,
you're not wrong. Bullpen arms are a little tricky. I do want to bring this up. So, following an account that I think you also follow, Mariners Center, he posted this earlier today of his potential opening day roster, and for the bullpen, he has Munoz, Brash, Bizzardo, Spire, Ferrer, Vargas, Legumina, and Criswell. Out of all of those guys that he names, the one guy that I'm actually really on the edge of is Casey Legumina. Because last year, look, Casey Legumina, he got some big outs at some point in the season. But Casey Legumina was not the best bullpen arm last year at all.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like when he last pitched, because I remember he had a clean inning. It was either yesterday or Friday. I don't know how much that influenced the Mariners' decision, but I hope that he figured something out and learned from last year if he's gonna be on the team.
So one guy that I think the Mariners should actually kind of give a chance at a bullpen spot ahead of Legumina, and I think you might actually be able to guess the guy before I even say it. Former Georgia standout Emerson Hancock. I don't know why, but I feel like maybe Emerson is just better out of the bullpen than he is as a starter. And I feel maybe just maybe he's got a chance to make that bullpen on opening day. He's got the stuff. I think he does have the stuff for the bullpen. I would put him leagues ahead of Casey Legumina.
I was trying to find Legumina's spring training stats because he had a very quick game on, I think it was Thursday. It says he has a 0 ERA, but I don't know what the sample size is. But I don't know like how agreeable this is, but I feel like Hancock is kind of locked for the bullpen at this point. And then if, say, like last second they need a spot start, I feel like he could definitely start on short notice and give the Mariners like 2 or 3 innings.
Yeah, I mean he would definitely be really good as a long innings guy. But one guy that's on the Mariners spring training roster that I hope they don't do what they did to him last year. Journeyman Casey Lawrence is back with the club. I just hope that they don't do what they did to Casey, what they did with him last year, because him having to keep his bags unpacked because he has no idea where he's going to be the next day is no fun. One guy on the roster that I wanted to talk about before we get into World Baseball Classic talk, before we get done with spring training talk. So Andrew Kistner, of course, is already slated to be the backup for the Seattle Mariners. But a week ago, the Mariners brought back who I believe should have definitely been given a backup contract to begin with. Mariners bringing Mitch Garver back on a minor league deal. From what I have gathered, if he does make the roster, he is slated to make, I think, $2.5 million. Okay, here I got it right here. So, Garver over Kistner would cost him an extra $3 million. So, a lot of people are saying maybe the Mariners go cheaper, they go with Kistner, but my opinion is do it. Go with the more expensive backup catcher, because I do believe that Mitch Garver is the better option. He knows this pitching staff, and you know what? I for some reason I need to have that one account that says Mitch Garver Glazer, because for some reason I'm just a big Mitch Garver supporter. I don't know why, but I feel like look, yes, was he making too much money for a backup the other last year? Yes, he was. Was he making too much money to begin with? I think so. I think he was making way too much money to be completely honest, because you were paying him to be a DH, and then you could have actually gotten that deal deferred into a different type of contract. But either way, I think the Mariners should go with the more expensive product in Mitch Garver. He knows this rotation. He knows how to hit. And you're only going to see him for probably 30, if not 40 games. Because we already know Rob Refsnyder, any day that there's a lefty on the mound, he's going to be the DH. He's going to be in that lineup. And I have so much faith in Rob Refsnyder, but I need to make the Mitch Garver Glazer account, because I want Mitch Garver on the opening day roster.
Yeah, I feel like Garver would be a better fit for a team just because he already knows the pitching staff. But also, I feel like now that Cal has left for WBC, I feel like the next 2 weeks would be a good time for him to prove himself, especially getting like a bunch of reps to catch the starters, and the Mariners could get more looks at him.
Yeah, 100%. All right. Our podcast is almost done, but before we close this podcast out, we of course have got to talk about that team that Joe is wearing right there on his chest, USA. The World Baseball Classic starts next week. And in the pools, let's go ahead and look over these pools real quickly. We got Pool A with Canada, Colombia, Cuba, Panama, and Puerto Rico. In Pool B, we have Brazil, Great Britain, who Tarek Skubal has said, I'll pitch one game. And it's going to be against Great Britain. So we have, again, Brazil, Great Britain, Italy, Mexico, and USA. Pool C, we have Australia, Chinese Taipei, Czechia, Japan, and Korea. And finally, in Pool D, we have Dominican Republic, Israel, Netherlands, Nicaragua, and Venezuela. Joe, Pool B, what's your prediction, my man? I mean, like who's coming out of Pool B?
I have my bracket pulled up right now on my phone. I say it's gonna be U.S. and Mexico.
Okay.
They're like the two pretty good teams. Italy's kind of a dark horse, but feels like they're in a tough pool. And then Great Britain and Brazil, they're just like nowhere close. Great Britain might win a game in this tournament, but I don't really see them like being much of a threat for making it out of the pool.
Oh no, I've got USA and Mexico in Pool B. Let's go ahead and just chat about this real quickly. Tarek Skubal, who has said he will only pitch 2 innings against Great Britain. You know what? I'm saying this right now. Look, is there money on the table for Tarek Skubal? Absolutely. There is millions and hundreds of millions of dollars on the line for this man. So him risking him getting hurt, I understand that completely. I completely understand that. This is my opinion on this, though. If you were only going to pitch 1 game, I really would. And then he's like, I think he came out and said, if this had been in season, it would have been a different story.
Yeah, I saw that.
And do you want to know something? I think that's a cop-out. I think that's a complete cop-out because I've got 2 words for you. Marcus Stroman. Marcus Stroman in the 2017 World Baseball Classic went 7 innings against Puerto Rico. The undefeated Puerto Rico, might I add, that during that tournament. He gave up 1 hit. But what I saw in that last WBC with the pitchers for the United States, they gave everything. They put everything on the line for us. They put everything on the line for their team. Why? Because it says USA. You are pitching for your country. Do I understand where he was coming from, where it said mid-season? Sure. If this had been the Olympics where they had an international break, which I'm hoping for the next Olympics, the Summer Olympics, that they do have baseball, there is an international break, and we're able to see Major League Baseball players like we saw with the NHL for the men's and women's hockey. First of all, congratulations to the men's and the women's on winning gold. Y'all are amazing. But this is country pride, in my opinion, because let me ask you this: do any of the Dominicans who play for their country, pitchers or hitters, do they say, "Oh, I'm only going to play 1 game and I'm going to go back"? No, they don't.
I've never heard them say that.
No. Do you want to know why? Pride.
Yeah.
1 word: pride. And Paul Skeens has already said he is pitching. He's already said it. And this is something that I love about Paul Skeens. Paul Skeens has said that if we get into the finals, I'm pitching. And he's already told the Pirates, I'm going to pitch the whole tournament, which you've got to admire him. You have to admire Paul Skeens because Paul Skeens, here's the thing. He did not want to become a professional baseball player. He wanted to become a fighter pilot. That is why he went to Air Force. That is why he originally went to the Air Force Academy, which I can absolutely, my opinion, Paul Skeens, you're an American hero. You're an American hero because you came out and said it. I understand that Tarek Skubal has got hundreds of millions of dollars on the line, but really, the 1 game that you want to go out and shove, it's against Great Britain. You know you're going to pitch 2. Am I the only one who thinks that I really wish that he just gets tanked on against Great Britain in this one?
That would be kind of fine, but I don't really see that happening, especially with blank Great Britain will be running out.
No, I agree. No, and also with those, at least their jerseys are better than the last ones.
Oh yeah.
But let's go ahead and talk about this again. So Pool A, let's just go ahead and talk a little WBC. So Pool A: Canada, Colombia, Cuba, Panama, Puerto Rico. People are going to think I'm crazy for this. I have Puerto Rico coming out of Pool A, but I also have Team Canada coming out of Pool A.
I had the same thing.
I think that Canadian team's just a little bit too sneaky, but also I want to say this for Pool B. There's one team that I think that can dethrone Mexico and sneak out of the pool, and it's Team Italy. I, for some reason, think that team is just sneaky. And also the fact that you got Dom Canzone and Miles Mastrobuoni on the Italian team, like, man, only a little bit more reason to cheer for them. I understand Mexico has Randy Arozarena, but like you got journeymen in Miles Mastrobuoni and Dom Canzone. Like, I mean, who doesn't want to see that? Who doesn't want to see this going into the knockout round when Dom Canzone hits a bases clearing, a bases loaded double? Like that would be something to watch. So, yeah, I think Canada can sneak out of their pool with who did I say?
Puerto Rico.
Yeah, Puerto Rico. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I do think that Puerto Rico and Canada can sneak out of that pool. Can we please just go to the obvious pool in which we already know who's...
One thing about Pool A, I feel like Pool A, especially with the Puerto Rico like insurance issues, I feel like it's the one pool where there's no like obvious powerhouse in it. So I feel like this could be very interesting to see how that goes.
100%. Let's go ahead and talk about this. Let's go ahead and talk about the obvious pool that nobody has any clue who's going to come out of that pool. Nobody knows who's going to be the obvious winner. Let's talk about Pool C with Australia, Chinese Taipei, Czechia. Oh, and these two countries, Japan and Korea. Oh yeah, like who's going to come out of that pool alive? We already know. It's Japan and Korea. We already know those two countries are coming out of that one alive. And then of course you go to the final pool in Pool D with Dominican Republic, Israel, Netherlands, Nicaragua, and Venezuela. I don't know. Like I do think Dominican Republic's going to get out of it. Dominican Republic's going to get out of it, but it's actually it's really much of a toss up with me with the other teams because I just don't know who's really going to make waves. The only other team that I can think of that can get out of that pool is Netherlands because they've always had that baseball program.
I feel like Netherlands is like might be one of the most underrated teams. They might be a little screwed by the pool they're in, especially since like I feel like they've been in like some Asian pools in the past and they've been able to get out of them. I feel like maybe DR and Venezuela. Remember last time that the USA versus Venezuela game was electric.
Oh my gosh,
and
that really was
definitely one of the top.
You know, I'm just gonna go ahead and say this right now. Like, how about this? How about instead of putting the Asian teams in the Japan pool, like, how about you take Japan and put them into the Dominican Republic? Like, take Japan and Korea and Chinese Taipei, take them out of the Asian pool and put them in a Dominican one. Like take these teams out of their comfort zone, take them out of a home field advantage because let's face it, that pool that features China, Korea and Japan, like it's you know, who's going to turn up for those games? Let me ask you a question. Who's going to turn out for the Australia Czechia game? There's not going to be anybody there. And that's what I
other than the people traveling from those countries.
Yeah, those are going to be the only people. And there's going to be like a little over 1,000 because when you watch those games, there's nobody in that crowd. There's nobody in the Tokyo Dome. But when Japan and Korea face off, Tokyo Dome sold out completely. Absolutely done. Me personally though, like getting onto the World Baseball Classic and finishing off this podcast, I think it is going to come down. I'm going to go out on a limb. It's not going to be a USA Japan rematch. I'm going to go out on a limb and say this. I think the Dominican Republic is going to sneak into the finals. But hands down, we're going to see the United States there. I 100% believe that the United States has put together the best roster of any United States team that I've seen in the World Baseball Classic. There is no chance that team does not go back to the final and finish it off with a World Baseball Classic title.
I could definitely agree with that. Since like they have actual aces this time, and what was the last time they had like a bunch of number 3 pitchers? And I know like Joe Ryan just pulled out, but still that's a strong team. And you want to know it's something I really want to see in this tournament?
Okay, what do you really want to see in this tournament?
Clayton Kershaw having no restrictions and absolutely dominated for 65 pitches.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and agree with you on that one. I don't like this. Well, actually, you know what? I'm actually going to say this. Look, pool play, I understand the pitch count. I'm fine with it. I'm okay with the pool play pitch count, but come elimination time, let these guys throw 90 pitches, let these guys throw 100 pitches.
It goes up each round.
It helps with the buildup. It helps with spring training. Don't even think for a second. And people are going to say, oh, but there's risk of injury. Yeah, there's risk of injury in spring training. What do you call this? This is the same thing. This is spring training, but it's a World Cup of baseball spring training. And these guys are going to be hyped. Again, both me and Joe, well, actually, I don't know what Joe is going to say, but me, so my World Baseball Classic prediction, it's going to be the United States and the Dominican Republic in the finals. I say it's going to be the USA that comes out on top. Joe, to end this podcast, to get our third podcast done, your World Baseball Classic predictions, my man.
So I did the brag challenge on World Baseball on MLB's site, and I had US being Dominican in the semis and then being Japan in the finals. I also had Mexico on the other side of the bracket in the semis.
You know something? I'm not even going to disagree with that. I actually like that. If we can, think about this. If we can beat the Dominican Republic, go to the finals, beat Japan, that's two of the biggest powerhouses in the entire world of baseball. Because if I'm going to rank the top three countries in baseball, it's the United States, from 1 to 3, United States, Japan, Dominican Republic, hands down, done. That's how I think.
Yeah, it's like US and then two other countries that have baseball like their religion. Like something kind of related to this at FanFest. Some little girl asked Julio like why he chose baseball over football or basketball, or I've mentioned some other sports, but then Julio mentioned that the DR doesn't have those sports, so he played baseball because that's like what the DR is the most passionate about. So that definitely would say if US could beat those countries.
Hands down. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and look at the schedule right here for the World Baseball Classic because we got a treat for you guys. So, the World Baseball Classic when does the World Baseball Classic kick off?
We'll play Game 1, Chinese Taipei against Australia, Wednesday at 7 p.m.
All right, and so that means on Friday. This upcoming Friday, we got a treat for you guys. At 5 p.m., tune in to Teal Sleeves podcast. Do you want to know why? Because me and Joe, we're going to be here. We're going to be commentating on the USA-Brazil game. We are going to be doing it every single USA game, and we're still going to be doing the podcast every 2 weeks until the regular season begins. So tune in this Friday because me and Joe, we're going to be here. We're going to be rooting for the United States. If I can work it, I will get a Cal Raleigh jersey. I will pay that much. Just damn you, Fanatics. Just damn you to hell for your pricing.
Like you have to find some in-person store at this point. I don't know where they're being sold at right now.
I don't even know where they're being sold, and hopefully they are being sold somewhere. That way I can find one and get one. But that is going to do it for me and Joe. Thanks so much for tuning in. We appreciate you guys tuning into us and watching this podcast. Please head over to the Teal Sleeves podcast site. That way you guys can check us out anytime that you see fit, and that way you guys can also subscribe to the channel. And we're going to be here, and we will. And you know what? Just like Denard said, next spring training, who knows? Maybe we're down there in spring training doing some games. You never know. We'll see you guys on Friday doing the United States versus Brazil. Have a good night, folks.
Yeah, hey, been a minute, holla my oh my. Hungry as we wait, take it to the plate. Pimp it like Gino, make them see though. JP in the clutch, yeah, that ought to make them hush, baby. Hey, you looking at the grid. See us rise, never hesitate when it's formulate. Pieces come together, now we egg drought buster. Hit them with the big dumb of wonders. Circle up and dance, taking every chance. Leave it on the diamond, we keep throwing heat. See the pin, too unique. Night and day, we chase the dream. He say home run, Julio. Yeah, we all on our feet. We all on our feet. Send it at a glance, hard work advance. We gon' make them feel all the heat. All the heat.